In today's class, we worked on Unit 1, Lesson 3, making scaled copies. The first thing we worked on was Activity 1, more or less. The directions say, for each problem, select the answer from the two choices. Go ahead and pause this video and really focus on question 1. The value of 25 times 8.5 is A, more than 205, or B, less than 205. Now notice, you should be doing this problem without using a calculator, without writing out the multiplication. Is it more or less? Go ahead and type an answer in a text box and unpause this video when you're finished. So again, you should pause the video, type the answer in the text box, and unpause the video when you're finished. So in class, we talked about how the value of 25 times 8.5 is more than 205, and there's a couple of different ways we can think about it. We know that 25 times 8 is 200. And one way to think about this is that 25 cents is the value of a quarter. So you know that 1 quarter has 4 groups of 25. So 4 groups of 25 is equal to 100, which helps us to see that 8 groups of 25 is equal to 200. Now, of course, we need to pay attention to the 0.5 part. But if we know that 125 is, of course, just 25, and we think about multiplying 25 times half, and 25 times 0.05 is the same thing as saying 25 divided by 2, or 25 split in half, we know that 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. And so 8.5 times 25 is 200 plus 12.5, which is 212.5. That's more than 205. So again, you can add these two together. 200 plus 12.5 equals 212.5. Before you move on from this activity, I'm looking that you have some work that shows that you thought about what 25 times 8.5 is and why. So make sure that's reflected in your class kick before you move on and listen to the next activity. So hit pause, finish activity 1, and then I will talk about activity 2. So in activity 2, we practiced drawing scale copies. And you can see here on my screen that I've actually already drawn the scale copies of A and C. So I'm going to explain how I drew those scale copies of A and C, and then I'm going to ask you to draw scale copies of B and of D. So listen closely. Number 1 says, draw a scale copy of either figure A or B using the scale factor of 3. Now that term scale factor tells us what we will multiply each of our side lengths by to get a new copy. So for example, we can see that in the original version of A, I have a side length here of 2. I know my scale factor is 3, which means that to get my new side length, I need to multiply 2 times 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how I got a side length of 6. I did the same thing with every side for A. So I saw that A was 3 units tall, and so I made my scale copy of A 9 units tall, because 3 times 3 is 9. I saw that the base was also 3, so I knew that the base of A had to be 3. Now notice that I can't count how long this piece, the diagonal line of A, is. But since I've already drawn my other 3 sides, I don't need to, because I just need to connect that diagonal line from the from the side length of 6 to the side length of 9. And I just realized my mistake, because this should say 9. Now, what you're going to do in just a moment is you are going to draw a scale copy of B. And you want to follow the same process. You can see that B has side lengths of 1, 3, 3, and 2. And again, your scale factor is 3. So in the blank space, you do not need to draw A. Go ahead and pause this video and draw your scale copy of B. So if you've unpaused the video at this point, that means you drew your scale copy of B. Make sure that you've drawn your scale copy of B before you move on. The next set of directions say, draw a scale copy of figure C or D using a scale factor of 1/2. Again, we're going to need to count the side lengths of C, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, and 7. And once you've figured out what all of the side lengths are, you'll simply split each of them in half because your scale factor is 1/2. So for example, you can see that this segment is 2 units long. So on my scale copy, it's 1 unit long. You can see that this segment is 7 units long. So on my scale copy, it's 3.5 because 3.5 is half of 7. I simply multiplied each of the side lengths in C times 1/2. And remember, multiplying times 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. Now in a moment, I'm going to tell you to pause and do D, but first I want to show you something. In D, we have some diagonal lines. The trick is that if you're able to correctly scale this line segment, this line segment, and this line segment, again, we're splitting them in half, you'll be able to tell where to connect the diagonal lines. So your next set of directions is to pause this video and draw your scale copy of D. So again, you should be pausing this video and drawing your scale copy of D. Okay, so let's move on to activity 3. Activity 3 says, Diego and Jada want to scale this polygon. So the side that corresponds to 15 units in the original is 5 in the scaled copy. Remember that word corresponds just means the side that's in the same place on the scale copy. So we're looking for 15 units in the original, and they want 15 units in the original to represent 5 in the scaled copy. Diego and Jada each use a different operation to find the new side lengths. Here are their finished drawings. So we can see that in Diego's drawing, that side that he wanted to be 5 is right here, and in Jada's drawing, that side is right here. So in class, we talked about which operation Diego used to calculate the lengths for his drawing. And we decided that Diego subtracted by 10. You can tell because he went from 36 to 26 minus 10, 30 to 20 minus 10. Jada, in contrast, what operation do you think Jada used? Divided by 3. We can see that she moved from 36 to 12. 36 divided by 3 is 12. She moved from 30 to 10. 30 divided by 3 is 10, and so on. So the question is, did each method produce a scaled copy of the polygon? That's question 3. Did each method, that's Diego's method of minus 3 and Jada's method of divided by 3, produce a scaled copy? When you scroll down in your ClassKick document, you will see question 3. Please go ahead and pause this video to answer question 3. So again, you should be pausing this video and answering question 3. So hopefully you've given question 3 a try on your own. The question again is, did each method produce a scaled copy? Notice how Jada's drawing still looks the same as the original copy. We can see that all the sides are closed and that the shape has maintained a very similar structure. In contrast, Diego's drawing didn't even close. There's this large gap here between the 2 line segments. Jada's copy is a scaled drawing, but Diego's is not. We can tell because all of the side lengths in Jada's drawing can be multiplied by the same thing to produce the scaled copy, times 3, and all of the angles are the same. So let's summarize. 1, Jada's sides times 3 give us the original. And 2 is the angles in the scaled copy equal the angles in the original. So remember, when we're producing a scaled copy, we need all the side lengths to change in the same way, using multiplication or division, and we also need all of the angles to be the same, just like we talked about in class on Monday when we were able to check out those different angles with tracing paper. Activity 3.4 is very similar to activity 3.3. Andre wants to make a scaled copy of Jada's drawing so that the side corresponds to 4 units, and Jada's polygon is 8 units in his scaled copy. So we can see that we have a side of 4 in Jada's drawing. Andre says, I wonder if I should add 4 units to the lengths of all the segments. What would you say in response to Andre? Explain or show your reasoning. After you answer question 1, create the scale copy that Andre wants. Again, he wants this side that's 4 to become 8 units. So give it a try. Draw a polygon that has a side of 8 units here, and see if you can figure out what the rest of the sides should be. This says if you get stuck, consider using the edge of an index card or paper to measure the lengths needed to draw the copy. Now you're working on Classkick, but you can use that straight line tool to help you. When you finish this video, or when you finish Classkick, come back to this video for a lesson summary. So, in other words, your directions are to answer 3.4, pause the video, come back when you're done. So in summary, today's lesson taught us that creating a scale copy involves multiplying the lengths of the original scale figure by a scale factor. So for example, to make a scale copy of triangle ABC, where the base is 8, we would use a scale factor of 4. So we multiply all of the side lengths by 4. So in triangle DEF, each side is 4 times as long. 2 times 4 is 8. Now notice that we can also scale in the other direction because we can divide by 4 or multiply times 1/4. At this point, you're ready to complete today's exit ticket, which is also located in today's folder. Go ahead and open that exit ticket, give it a try, and then you're good to go. As always, if you have questions, don't forget to send me an email.